The old sailors told stories of a lighthouse at the edge of the world. They spoke in hushed tones, their voices carrying the weight of countless voyages and untold mysteries. Each tale was more fantastical than the last, yet all shared a common thread. The lighthouse was a place where reality itself seemed to unravel, a place where the sea turned back on itself, defying the natural order. Waves that should have crashed forward instead retreated, as if the ocean were rewinding its own history. Where time flowed in reverse, erasing years like lines in the sand. The very fabric of time seemed to be stitched backward, undoing the past with each passing moment. It was a beacon for the desperate, a siren song for the regretful. Those who had lost their way, who yearned for a second chance, were drawn to its eerie glow like moths to a flame.
Miriam, her weathered hands clutching the ship's railing, understood this siren song all too well. Her fingers, gnarled and calloused from years of hardship, gripped the railing as if it were her last lifeline. Her life had been a tempestuous sea of bad decisions and missed opportunities. Each wave that crashed against her small vessel seemed to echo the tumultuous events of her past. The lines on her face, each one a scar of a wrong turn, were a constant reminder of her past. Every wrinkle told a story of regret, of paths not taken, and dreams unfulfilled. Now, she sought the lighthouse, hoping to undo the knots of time and find peace in oblivion. The distant glow of the lighthouse was a beacon of hope, a promise of redemption that she could not ignore.
The lighthouse, a twisted silhouette against the crimson sunset, seemed to pulsate with an otherworldly glow. Its shape was unlike any other, as if it had been sculpted by the hands of time itself. Its light, a chilling white, spun counterclockwise, beckoning her closer. The reverse motion of the beacon was hypnotic, drawing her in with an irresistible pull.
Miriam, her heart pounding with a mixture of hope and dread, steered her small boat towards the impossible promise of the lighthouse. Each stroke of the oar brought her closer to the unknown, to a future that was as uncertain as the sea itself. She was ready to face the consequences, whatever they may be. Her determination was unwavering, fueled by a lifetime of regrets and the hope for a chance to rewrite her story. The past, she knew, was a dangerous ocean to navigate. But the hope of redemption outweighed the fear of the unknown. The turbulent waters were a reflection of her inner turmoil, yet she pressed on, driven by the faint glimmer of hope that the lighthouse offered. As she approached, the door of the lighthouse creaked open, as if inviting her into its enigmatic embrace. The threshold was a gateway to the past, a portal through which she hoped to find the answers she so desperately sought. With a deep breath, Miriam stepped into the lighthouse, ready to confront the shadows of her past and the possibilities of her future. The journey had been long and arduous, but she was finally here, at the edge of the world, where time and reality intertwined.
The salt spray on her face felt like tears, each droplet a memory. Memories of a time when life was simpler, when the weight of her choices hadn't yet settled on her shoulders. The sea, vast and unending, seemed to hold all her regrets, each wave a reminder of what she had lost. The laughter of a child, now lost to time. It echoed in her mind, a haunting melody that played over and over. She could almost see the child's face, bright and full of life, a stark contrast to the emptiness she felt now, the warmth of a love long extinguished. She remembered the way they used to look at each other with eyes full of promise and dreams. Those days felt like a lifetime ago, buried under layers of hurt and betrayal. The sting of betrayal still fresh in her mind. It was a wound that never fully healed, always there, just beneath the surface. She had trusted too easily, loved too deeply, and paid the price for it. The sea around the lighthouse seemed to mirror her turmoil. It was as if the elements themselves understood her pain, the churning waters a reflection of the storm within her heart. It churned and swirled, waves crashing in reverse, retreating back from the shore. It was an unnatural sight, as if time itself was trying to undo the past, to give her a chance to make different choices.
As she neared the lighthouse, the air grew thick with an eerie silence. The fog wrapped around her like a shroud, muffling the world and isolating her in her thoughts. It was a place of solitude where she could confront her past without distraction. The only sound was the creaking of her boat and the distant, rhythmic pulse of the light. It was a steady beat, a reminder that life went on, even when it felt like her world had stopped. It was a hypnotic rhythm, lulling her into a trance. Each rotation of the light seemed to pull her deeper into her memories, forcing her to face the choices that had led her here. The past, once a distant echo, started to feel tangible, close enough to touch. She reached out, as if she could grasp the fleeting moments and hold them close, but they slipped through her fingers like sand.
She saw flashes of her younger self, carefree and vibrant, laughing in the sun. Those were the days of innocence, when the future seemed bright and full of possibilities. She longed to return to that time, to warn her younger self of the heartache that lay ahead. The image brought a fresh wave of pain. It was a reminder of the woman she once was, the woman she could have been had she chosen differently. She stood on the precipice of her past and future, torn between regret and the hope of redemption.
She gripped the railing tighter, her knuckles white, her resolve hardening. She knew that she couldn't change the past, but she could shape her future. The lighthouse stood as a beacon of hope, a chance to find her way back to herself. The lighthouse promised a chance to right her wrongs, and she wouldn't turn back now. It was a symbol of resilience, standing tall against the storm, just as she would. With each step, she moved closer to her redemption, ready to face whatever lay ahead.
The closer she got, the stranger the world became. The sea, no longer a vast expanse, felt like a shrinking pool. The waves, instead of crashing ashore, were sucked back into the depths, their retreat a silent, mesmerizing dance. It was as if the world itself was holding its breath.
The lighthouse light, now a blinding white, pulsed with an energy that seemed to vibrate through her very being. It felt like a hand reaching into her chest, tugging at the fabric of her being. The air crackled with an unknown energy, making the hairs on her arms stand on end.
She felt a strange lightness, a sense of years slipping away. Her wrinkled hands, gnarled with age, felt smoother. She looked down at her reflection in the water, now still and clear like a mirror. The face staring back at her was younger, the lines less pronounced, a hint of the vibrancy she once possessed returning.
Fear warred with anticipation. The lighthouse was real, its power undeniable. It was a terrifying, exhilarating realization.
The air buzzed with whispers, faint echoes of conversations long past. It was as if the very walls held onto the voices, refusing to let them fade into oblivion. Each whisper carried a fragment of a story, a piece of a life once lived. Laughter, arguments, words of love and hate all swirled around her, a cacophony of memories not her own. She could almost see the faces behind the voices, their expressions shifting from joy to sorrow, from anger to tenderness. It was a symphony of human emotion, a testament to the complexity of life. They were like ghosts, these remnants of time, reaching out from the depths of the past. Each figure seemed to carry a message, a lesson from history, urging her to listen, to understand. They were not just shadows, they were echoes of humanity, lingering in the spaces between moments.
She saw fleeting glimpses of lives lived and lost, of choices made and paths not taken. Each image was a snapshot of a different era, a different world. The faces in the photographs seemed to look back at her, their eyes filled with stories untold, secrets kept hidden by the passage of time. They flickered in and out of existence, like old films projected onto the mist. The scenes played out in a dreamlike sequence, each one more haunting than the last. It was as if the past was trying to communicate with her, to share its wisdom and its pain. A young boy, his face etched with mischief, ran across the beach, his laughter echoing through the years. His joy was infectious, a reminder of the innocence and wonder of childhood. She could almost feel the sand beneath her feet, the salty breeze on her skin, as if she were there with him. A couple, their faces lit by the moonlight, shared a kiss, their love a tangible presence in the air. Their embrace was timeless, a moment of pure connection that transcended the years. It was a reminder of the power of love, of the bonds that tie us together across time and space.
These were not her memories, yet they tugged at her heart, reminding her of the beauty and pain of human existence. She felt a deep connection to these strangers, as if their experiences were a part of her own. It was a bittersweet feeling, a mix of nostalgia and longing for something she had never known. The lighthouse, she realized, held not just her past, but the weight of countless others. It stood as a sentinel, a guardian of memories, watching over the ebb and flow of time. Its light had guided many souls. Its walls had witnessed countless stories. It was a repository of time, a graveyard of moments lost and forgotten. Each photograph, each film reel was a fragment of a life, a piece of a puzzle that told the story of humanity. It was a treasure trove of history, waiting to be discovered, to be remembered. The thought filled her with a strange melancholy, a sense of shared history with strangers. She felt a kinship with those who had come before her, a connection that transcended time and space. It was a reminder that we are all part of a larger tapestry woven together by the threads of our experiences.